It all began with whispers, soft, unsettling sounds that floated through the darkened halls of a Tennessee farmhouse. But it would certainly grow into something far more sinister. A family tormented, a man poisoned, and a future president so shaken that he fled, vowing never to return. This is the story of the Bell Witch, a haunting so chilling that it remains one of America's most enduring mysteries. But first, if you're a fan of profound, historic, and timeless stories told in captivating detail, welcome to Hysteria. Twice a week, we bring you the tales that shaped our world, from forgotten heroes to eerie mysteries. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Now let's step back into the early 1800s to a small Tennessee farm where shadows whispered and history was made. John Bell had heard the rumors, of course, stories of strange happenings in the hills and hollows of Tennessee. But in 1804, when he and his family settled on their new farm in Adams, Tennessee, those whispers seemed far away. The land was fertile, the forest teeming with game. For John, his wife Lucy, and their children, it was a fresh start. The Bell family thrived, their farm becoming one of the most prosperous in the region. For over a decade, life was very good. But in 1817, everything changed. It started inconspicuously. The children heard scratching noises at night, as if something or someone was clawing at the walls. Lucy found herself waking to faint whispers, too quiet to understand but impossible to ignore. At first, the family dismissed it. Perhaps it was animals or the wind. But the disturbances grew. Knocks and thuds echoed through the house, even when no one was near. Objects moved on their own. And then came the voices. At first they were faint, little more than murmurs. But soon they grew louder, mocking the family in a clear, disembodied voice. "I am the spirit of a person once living," the voice declared, though it refused to give its name. Neighbors began to take notice. At first they dismissed the Bell's claims as exaggerations. But visitors who spent a night in the house often fled before morning, pale and shaken. The spirit was unpredictable. Sometimes it recited Bible verses or hymns in an eerie, sing-song tone. Other times it would gossip about town affairs, revealing secrets that no outsider could possibly know. Those who entered the house as skeptics often left as believers, their doubts shattered by the chilling reality of what they had witnessed. The Bell children bore the brunt of the spirit's wrath. Betsy, the youngest daughter, was slapped, pinched, and had her hair pulled by invisible hands. She would wake with bruises and scratches on her skin, her cries echoing through the house. John Bell, the patriarch, also became a target. The spirit harassed him relentlessly, calling him a liar, a fraud, a wicked man deserving of punishment. His once strong frame began to wither, his health deteriorating under the unseen force's torment. Lucy Bell, however, was treated differently. The spirit seemed to admire her, calling her the most perfect woman living. At times, Lucy would wake to find fresh flowers on her bedside table, placed there by an unseen hand. But if the spirit had a soft spot for Lucy, it had nothing but malice for her husband. By 1819, the legend had reached far beyond Tennessee, catching the attention of one of the most fearless men in America, General Andrew Jackson. Known for his toughness in battle and his unshakable confidence, Jackson was intrigued but skeptical. Determined to see the truth for himself, he gathered an entourage and set off for the Bell farm. As they approached the property, an inexplicable event occurred. Their wagon, laden with supplies, abruptly halted. The horses strained. They tried to move, yet the wagon remained immobile, as if anchored by an unseen force. The men dismounted, inspecting the wheels and the axles, finding no apparent cause for obstruction. They attempted to push the wagon themselves, but it stood steadfast. Frustration mounting, Jackson reportedly exclaimed, "By the eternal, boys, this is the witch!" In response, a disembodied female voice echoed, "All right, General, let the wagon move on. I will see you again tonight." To the astonishment of all present, the wagon jolted forward, the horses now moving with ease. A tension settled over the group as they continued toward the Bell residence, each man grappling with the uncanny experience. That night, Jackson and his men stayed at the Bell home. One of his companions, a self-proclaimed witch tamer, boasted that he could drive the spirit away. He carried a silver bullet, asserting that it could be used against all evil entities. As night deepened, the atmosphere grew heavy with expectation. Suddenly, faint footsteps resonated across the wooden floor, though no source was visible. The same voice that had addressed Jackson earlier spoke again. "All right, General, I am on hand and ready for business." The witch tamer, undeterred, challenged the entity, but his bravado quickly waned. He began to exhibit signs of distress, swatting at the air as if besieged by invisible assailants. He cried out, claiming to be pricked by pins and assaulted by unseen forces. Panic overtook him, and he fled the house, abandoning his comrades. Jackson and his men certainly rattled. Though he had faced gunfire and death on the battlefield, this was something altogether different. By morning, the general had seen enough. He left the farm, vowing never to return. John Bell's health worsened over the next year, with his symptoms becoming more bizarre. His throat swelled shut at times, leaving him gasping for air. He would wake unable to move, as if something unseen was holding him down. The spirit mocked him constantly, whispering in his ear that his time was near. On the morning of December 20th, 1820, John Bell was found unresponsive in his bed. Near him, the family discovered a small vial containing a dark, unidentified liquid. The spirit's voice rang through the house, boasting, "I gave old Jack a dose of it last night, and he will never get up again." The Bells, horrified, tested the substance on a stray cat. The animal convulsed and died within moments. Whatever was in that vial, it was deadly. John Bell's funeral was one of the largest ever held in the region, with hundreds of mourners in attendance. But the Bell Witch was not finished. As the last shovel of dirt covered his grave, a voice erupted into mocking laughter, breaking into bawdy songs that carried through the cemetery. The grieving family could do nothing but endure the humiliation. The Bell Witch's activity lessened after John's death, though she reportedly told the family she would return in 7 years. And true to her word, she made a brief reappearance in 1828, but her visits were less frequent and less intense. Over time, the Bell Farm fell into legend. The house itself is long gone, but the nearby Bell Witch Cave remains a very popular tourist attraction. Some say her spirit lingers there, a chilling reminder of the events that unfolded over 200 years ago. As for Andrew Jackson, well, he never spoke publicly about what he witnessed at the Bell Farm. But in the years that followed, whenever the topic of witches or spirits arose, the general, who would become America's 7th president, fell uncharacteristically silent. Perhaps even the toughest men know when to stop tempting the shadows.
If you like profound, historic, and timeless stories, check out Heathstory. New episodes twice weekly only on the Jim Heath channel. Subscribe and like now, and we'll see you next time.